Today we're going to look at some custom Magic the Gathering cards. Let's see what insanity people have dreamed up today. We're going to start up with Dynastus, the Unrelenting for a blue. It is a 3/3 flying legendary Sphinx Djinn. Reminds me of a Delver of Secrets. Whenever Dynastus attacks an opponent, the defending player draws a card. Okay. And then whenever Dynastus blocks, the attacking player draws a card. Oh, so okay, so this is like a Delver of Secrets, except there is a downside. Whenever you attack, you give your opponent value. I actually think this is supremely genius design. This really is like tempo the card, because as you attack your opponent, they're gonna keep drawing cards. They're gonna have probably like infinite gas. And you literally have to tap your opponent tempo out your opponent, because you're not going to win on card advantage. So you better like get this out on turn 1. Group hug card. That's actually an interesting angle. I wasn't even thinking about it for Commander. I was just thinking of like Modern, Legacy, because there's the quintessential Delver of Secrets, which is basically a 1-mana 3/2. It's a little bit of work to get it online, but it's one of the most dangerous creatures in the history of the game for blue decks that just play this 3/2 effectively on turn 1 and protect it for the rest of the game until your opponent is dead, getting their life total from 20 to 0. But you can also look at this from the Commander point of view, where, okay, hey, do you need any cards? All right, let me attack you. You can give you some cards. Do you need any cards? I'm going to attack you. If you want some cards, come bring it on. Attack with your 2/4. I'll block with my Dynastus over here. So you can look at it. It's an incredibly well-designed card. And I think very much worth stealing. I do see a world where you could combine this with Orcish Bowmasters, which says when your opponents draw a card, you make a bigger orc, you also deal damage. So it's actually possible that this is a benefit for the Dynastus player. It is quite possible. Brian says, to be fair, blue means you get a ton of cards. It's value for you. Well, no. Remember, it's just they get the card. You can't attack yourself. You can't block yourself either. Not that I know of. Unless you control the opponent's thing. What's today's bingo card? This one. And I don't think it hits anything. This is just a like really regular card. Nothing insane. But I think it's a banger. We start the show off with a banger, and we are going to move on the show with Conscription. Now, Conscription is a white enchantment. Humans you control are soldiers in addition to the other types. It's pretty lame. Most soldiers are humans. I guess the idea is that, okay, you are getting recruited. I guess if a soldier deck wants to make use of more humans, well, I guess there's a larger pool out there. Human soldiers you control have Vigilance and Renown 1. Okay, it's for the Kindred players out there, if they like it. Elixir, thank you so much for your super chat. Or Origamify? You mean like the paper cranes? Origamify. And of course, if you want to be part of the show, I have instructions in the description. Become part of my Discord. Donate $5. Post your card. Give it a name. Well, let me show everybody. Elixir submitted the card with the name Origamify so I could look it up. We have looked up the card, and here it is, presented to all of you today. A blue-green enchantment. Whenever a player casts a creature spell, exile it. Then create a token that's a copy of the exiled creature under that player's control. Cycling 2. You know what it should also have? Okay, hold on. Is this broken? No, whenever a player casts a creature spell, exile it, then create a token that's a copy of the exiled creature under that player's control. What I'd also add is, because it's like basically a paper crane, like it's a piece of paper, it should have like whenever it's the target of a spell or ability, it like gets destroyed. Like how strong is origami? Not very strong. You can weigh it down with a rock, for crying out loud, and it's got cycling too. So basically all we're doing is we're turning creatures into tokens, which I guess is fine by itself. There's nothing wrong with that. The creatures get exiled. Bounce spells now become more powerful because now bounce is just spot removal. You might as well destroy the damn thing. It's a token, for crying out loud. Would that double their ETBs? Nope, because it gets exiled upon being cast. So if it's cast, it's not in play yet. And if it's not in play yet, it did not enter the battlefield. And if it didn't enter the battlefield, it gets no trigger. Paper toad. That's right. Paper toad. Is there even a toad in your picture? There's nothing. Hey, enough sheets of paper can stop anything. I guess in theory, sheets of paper can kill too. Get them paper cuts. The sharp. Come on, Nikachu. Everyone knows paper beats rock. Oh, I am so got there. You got me. Man, got in 4K. Or 720p, I should say. Oh, shuts down when non-token stuff enters, I guess. Yeah, that's possible. It changes the dynamic of a game. It's a build-around card. You can build your whole entire deck around it. This is a very, very cool card. Great way to start off the donations. Okay, moving on. Go to the freebie section. The Ristic Study Group. That's right. If we can get enough people in one room, you're gonna have to pay one for every Ristic studying person in the room. 3 mana, and it's a hybrid. You can use it in white now. Oh God, you're that stacks. They're just trying to make it easier to put in any stacks deck. Whenever a player casts a spell whenever a player casts a spell, each player may draw a card unless another player pays 1. Oh, now this is group hug. All right, we all draw a card or we all draw nothing. Corbinik loves it. Super Zybers to him. What do I have to say about this? Whenever a player casts a spell, each other player can... Oh, no. Hold on. Yeah, it's each player. Okay, I guess there is the only problem. I want to say this is great until everyone is tapped out and the active player decides, all right, I'm going to just draw. I have infinite mana. I'll just keep drawing cards while you guys are completely tapped out. It's May draw, so it's fine. I mean, yeah, it's balanced in that way. I'm just thinking about a combo player with a lot of mana available to them while everyone else is tapped out, just going off. Because if you have infinite mana, you can draw your entire deck and then, like, theoretically win the game from there. I don't know about this one. In theory, it's fine. Each player may draw a card. And by the way, some people don't care if the opponent draws a card. Whatever. I hope it doesn't break anything. It has the potential for being broken, though. Okay, next up, let's take a look at Brian Freet with Ralmar, bloodied but not broken. All right, Ralmar. This is a 5 mana 4/6 human druid. A bit of a stamp or tattoo on the forehead. Melee, Riot, and Trample. I only know one of those. Oh no, do I know Riot? Is Riot the one it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter, or you could give it haste? I think it's one. I don't know Melee. I don't know what that one is. Whenever a creature an opponent controls blocks, tap that creature. It doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. I think at this point you would just say tap it and put a stun counter on it. Creatures do not remove damage during the end step unless it's their controller's turn. Creatures do not remove damage. That is interesting. That definitely deserves its own paragraph because is it really just part of this ability? It's weird to have it on there. It should just be more of a static ability. Oh no, I see. You don't want to have it as a static ability because you want it to be part of the blocking thing. Yes for Riot. Okay, what's Melee? Whenever this creature attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each opponent you attack this combat. So it's getting +1/+1 anyway. Why are we doubling these? That's just so weird. It's got Riot. Oh, I just give it haste. There's like almost no reason to hold it back unless you like really have no good attack at that moment. Okay, so basically the damage stays. Okay, I'll say this card is doable. This card would never, I doubt Wizards would want to print a card like this. Maybe I'm wrong. because they don't want you to keep track of this stuff. Like, this is just, you're going to become mentally fatigued to constantly keep track of these things, because you're going to have to like remind yourself, okay, I've got 4 damage on this creature, and wait until it becomes your turn. Then you can finally remove the damage. So it's a bit of it's an awkward thing to keep track of, because you would want to be able to block with your creature on multiple turns. But now you have to remember how much damage it has already been taken. All right, so I will say it is doable, though. It would be fine in Arena Alchemy. It'd be fine digitally. Digitally, you can do whatever you want. It keeps track of everything. Even weird conjured cards you put in your deck. That's exactly what it does. All right, we're going to go to the freebie section. Is there a thing for 3 abilities? Not really. Freebie section. Actually. For a Phyrexian blue, instant. Uncounter target spell. What? How do you even do that? Any spell or ability that would counter that spell instead doesn't. Okay. There is like another way of putting this. It could have just said counter target spell that counters or something like that, or counter target counter spell of some sort. Anyway. Sure. One. How interesting. It might be broken. It's possible. This is like the ultimate protection spell. Yeah, this is very unglued. I would predict that this would be a hardcore sideboard card. Like, this is the new Pact of Negation, basically. Maybe I'm wrong. But there are some counter spells out there. Their only purpose is to counter spells. Basically. I think it would be better worded as target spell can't be countered this turn. Ooh. I like it. I like it. Perfectly worded, actually. I think that's exactly how Wizards would word it these days. Yeah, that's yeah, this is templated like a silver border card. Uncounter target spell, but it's been countered already. If it's been countered, it's in the graveyard. It's almost like worded like, okay, we are going to reanimate the spell that was just countered and put it back on the stack where it belongs. Anyhow. Instant 4 of in every deck. Wow, people just hate those. People hate counterspells for some reason. That's just how it is around here. Magostera. Hey, Nikachu. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. A card I have for today is Blessed by Scarlet Rot. Let's take a look at Blessed by Scarlet Rot. I know Undying is a bit risky to play with. How does it look power scale-wise? I think Undying is okay. Undying is actually a really good mechanic. Persist was a really good mechanic, and that was crappier than Undying. This is a Jund enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep for each player, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature they control. Oh my god! Your upkeep for each player. So we're shrinking the board. Creatures you control with a -1/-1 counters on them have Undying. Oh, okay. So, only you control. So if your stuff dies, it comes back with a +1/+1 counter. For each player, so everyone's stuff is shrinking. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk everyone! The whole world is going down. But if we die, some of us are going to go back to our normal size. Nikachu, I is an immortal shapeshifter to get his power from people playing Magic, thus made this show to sustain himself. Yes, like a god. I am a custom card reviewing god. And for as long as you people worship the custom rating god, the god sticks around. Everyone's stuff is shrinking, but your stuff is unkillable. It's not unkillable, but it's not easy to kill. Because, so, when your stuff dies, it comes back into play with a +1/+1 counter, and that's your chance! Alright? Send in the nukes! You have that one moment to kill the stuff, and then that's it. And then when this thing triggers again, on the next turn, well, it's too late. It's over. You missed your opportunity. Okay, I like it. I actually think it's fine. It reminds me of something else. Is it taught? It might be slightly oppressive, but maybe not really. Because you play it and it is useless until your next turn. And then from there you can figure it out. Anyway, I hope it's balanced. It's not super impactful right out of the gates. Okay, so I like it. Okay, freebie section. Actually, we have the Creeping Phantom for a black 3/3 spirit. Creeping Phantom can't block and can't be blocked. When Creeping Phantom deals combat damage to a player, that player draws a card. Another one of these. Is this the same person? Collared Cow. No, this was a completely different person. Everyone's trying to make Delvers that can't be evasive creatures that can't be blocked, and the opponents draw cards. Where the hell does this theme come from? Can't block and can't be blocked. Deals combat damage to a player. Again, I think I like it. I think I like this design. So you have it's not even invincible. I mean, it literally dies to almost everything except shock. And shock isn't really even, doesn't meet par these days. It can be killed by lightning bolt, swords to plowshares, path to exile, galvanic discharge, fatal push. Like the list is endless. Now you can't block it, but it also can't block either, so it can't be on defense, and all it does is draw your opponent's cards. No. 1-mana 3/3 just became a trend in the last day. Wow, interesting. I mean, if they got Nekusar / Hull Breach type deck, it's an upside. But you need the Hull Breach in there. And by the way, I mean, it's probably going to draw you cards before the Hull Breacher comes into play. And at that moment, that's your chance to destroy this Creeping Phantom. I mean, if it's helping. I'm pretty sure giving your opponent cards like every single turn, a one-sided Howling Mine for 0 mana is going to backfire on you. So I'd be very interested to see how this card actually plays out. Oh, Shield. I like that one. That's a good one. Shield Dread. Yeah, Shield Dread in combination with Creeping Phantom. Not bad. Not a bad combo at all. And Bowmasters. So actually, there's ways of making this work for the black deck too. Eris is like, LOL, no. I repeat, LOL, no. I think it's fine. I think it looks great. Or it could be a win con for Turbo Fog. Still, like, even for the Turbo Fog, it dies to, like, almost anything. Almost anything, except blocking it. That's the only thing that won't die to. I like it. It passes. Okay, next up, let's take... we're going to take one from the Damn Draws. The Capuchin More Trader. Capuchin? I feel like I'm naming this wrong. I'm not pronouncing this right. The 3-mana 2/2 Monkey Ranger. You have... I don't know. I don't get this. Are you like a huge fan of Planet of the Apes or something? Where did this monkey set come from? Do you love the zoo? 3-mana 2/2 Monkey Ranger. Swamp Walk. Navigates that swamp like no other monkey. Then for 4 mana, tap other creatures you control. Get your choice of Swamp Walk or Island Walk until end of turn. You know, it's very funny. I feel like, especially in the art, the swamps and the islands, they have a lot of overlap. Sometimes in the picture of the islands, it's just like a marsh or it's just something wet. And I'm like, isn't that a swamp? A lot of crossover. Okay, what else do I have to say? This monkey is not monkeying around. This ability is really expensive, though. Other creatures you control, get your choice of Swamp Walk or Island Walk until end of turn. You know, honestly, I don't even think it needs a tap. You could just have it 4 mana and everything gets it, and you can, like, attack with it or something. We're just monkeying around here. What is this? Mithril Coat? I don't know what that's in reference to. But anyway, this is definitely a playable card. Not OP whatsoever. Not broken. Did we hit anything on here yet? 5 words in the name, a waifu card, learn grammar. No, we have not. Oh, is there a new creature type here? A monkey ranger? No, that's all new. That's all regular stuff. Back to the freebie section. The Cloud Prairie. Tapped out a white, pay a blue, tap, transform this land. And it transforms into a tundra, basically. Tapped out a blue and a white. So you can't search this up. You can pay a blue, tap to turn it into tundra. So you don't have the blue up front. It's interesting. It's very innovative. It might be too strong. Like, this is like a strictly better dual land from any other dual land that exists. End of turn. You don't have anything to do with the mana. You pay the blue, tap this thing, and transform the damn land. I hope the monkey isn't a waifu card. It is not. The damn draws also says, I like monkeys, and the game needs more of them. Same with the clowns. Oh, God. Look. All we need is a clown and monkey. And we'll hit both of them for you. Okay, Steve Cooper loves this sort of dual land. It's affordable. So, okay, here's the balance part of this. You can't fetch it out. If you plan on curving out every single turn, like play something turn 1, play something turn 2, play something turn 3, play something turn 4, it's not a dual land. It's basically a mono white land. Now, it's very rare that they give this to you untapped without paying life or something. This almost feels like a card that's like, comes into play tapped, but you can pay like 1 or 2 life to have it come into play untapped instead. That's the vibes I'm getting from this. It feels very, very free for the second color. Or maybe it's not. Maybe with playtesting, it's like, yeah, this is clunky enough that it actually is a cost. To control decks, they probably don't care. There's going to be a lot of games where they're like, okay, Clouded Prairie, pass. The opponent's like, pass back. Okay, end of turn, I'll just transform my Clouded Prairie. Magic needs more penguins. Penguin is weird, because that is, like, in terms of canon, that can only be in Antarctica, right? Like, are there penguins anywhere else? Are there penguins at the North Pole? I'm not too sure. You have to play a color to get 2 of that color. I think that's awkward. I think that's awkward enough. Oh, yeah, you're right. You already need the blue to get the other blue. So what is the point? The point of this land is so that you can play, like, double white, double blue. Specifically double blue in this case. That is really weird. Okay. Passes in my books. Next up, we got Julian. Thank you so much, Julian, for your super chat. I just got a job. Congratulations. So I won't be here as often. Oh. At first, I was like, you got a job. You've got money. You can spend money on the custom card show. No, but that's just as good, too. I'm really happy for you, Julian. Chromatic Cube. I didn't think about it. A lot of people... It's either, like, really late in Europe or you don't work. Is my card. How many chromatic shapes could they add before it's a problem? Probably infinite? They could probably do a lot of them. Chromatic Cube. Because they got Sphere and Chromatic Star. What other shapes can we make the Chromatic Pentagon and the Hexagon? Okay, we're talking about cubes today. Artifact. Pay 1, tap, exile Chromatic Cube. When Chromatic Cube leaves this way, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. We didn't even draw a card out of this. This card's awful. Chromatic Teardrop. Yeah, we get some card draw out of this thing. Like I believe Chromatic Sphere and Chromatic Star, they both draw a card when it hits the graveyard. And I think that this is just strictly worse than those other two. It's only there for filtering. And you have to exile it! So we don't even get it back from the graveyard. We get no card draw. We can't recycle this from the graveyard with artifact combo decks. Man, the cube. We went bigger on the shapes and it got worse. Chromatic Hexagon, exactly. Chromatic Isohedron. Oh yeah, a D20. It's just got a picture of a D20 on the thing. In the image. Julian's like, I totally forgot to add the card draw.
No, God, please, no.
I meant it to draw the card. Okay, well, let's just... Okay, we'll spiritually say it draws a card. It definitely would pass. It's a different take, though, for you to exile it. Because then that means combo decks can't loop it. In a world, there is a world where maybe this stays legal and they ban Chromatic Sphere, Chromatic Star because it's part of an eggs deck or something to draw through your deck. The Chromatic Tesseract and make it very difficult to understand. I love it. Toilet Duck, Old Mechanic, Swamp Walk. You know what? Actually, that's right, Toilet Duck. Yeah, I'll take that. That is an old mechanic. Not even evergreen anymore. Where is that? Old recycling, old mechanic. Can always depend on Toilet Duck for the bingo card. All right. With that, let's take a look at the freebie section again. Hero's Fervor, 2-mana aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature has double strike. That's it. Feels like a draft card. Is there literally no card like this in all of Magic the Gathering? I almost don't believe that. Okay, hold on. We gotta do some work here. Okay, we want text double strike. Is that how it's done? What was giant creature has double? Oh, it's 2 words. Okay, double strike, and then we want it to be an aura, right? It's gonna be an aura, and then what else do we need? Mana value equal. Let's just say less than 3. Let's say less than 4. And that's it. There's a few... it's not quite the same. I guess for 2 mana it doesn't exist. For 3 mana it exists. Interesting. So we're gonna... And all our options, by the way, if I were to show everybody, all our options are like white and 3 mana. This one has flash, though. That's pretty serious. Okay, so what we're saying here is we're gonna reduce it to buy mana, but we're gonna add a color. Okay, so the cost, it's not nothing, and of course, oh man, I don't like the sound of this. Turn 1, Monastery Swiftspear. Turn 2, Hero's Fervor. Buffs up your stupid Monastery Swiftspear, and then you like smack in for 4 damage, and the next turn you're attacking for a lot more than that. It exists in white, Boros for 2. Probably that's okay. Honestly, auras are so bad. I bring it up like pretty often on this show. Auras are so bad. They have like, it's like super high risk, like barely any reward. That's the problem with auras. It's the crappiest card type in the entire game. Outside of maybe, I don't know, I think equipment are pretty bad too. I know you people, you love equipment, but I don't think it's that strong overall. Kalia, thank you so much for your super chat. We got evenly matched. Just a reminder to everyone, with the bigger super chats, we look at the if you have a series of cards, we'll look at that after the sponsor segment. Evenly matched. So you're saying the match is 50-50. 6 mana instant, cast only at end of combat. Do you know where the end of combat is? Does anyone know where the end of combat is? I bet most people would actually miss it most of the time. Anyway, I'll get to it. I'll answer that question after we look at this. Each opponent exiles cards they control face down until they control the same number of cards as you. That is just weird. That's super, super weird. Each opponent exiles cards they control face down until they control the same number of cards as you. So basically I have to choose, but they're still I guess they're just face down. They're not any cards, right? It's when you say my combat phase is ending. Well, no, you gotta be more specific than that, actually. The actual Yu-Gi-Oh card. How many of you people play Yu-Gi-Oh? Got a big Yu-Gi-Oh contingent over here. I should have written permanent. Oops. Each opponent exiles cards they control. Honestly, it's okay. I guess you could say permanent. Oh, exiles cards they control. It's weird. I don't think we control the cards that are in our hand. But yeah, you're right. Should be permanent. Bingo. Yu-Gi-Oh card. Yu-Gi-Oh card means We have a specific definition for Yu-Gi-Oh card, which means it has too much text. This is like literally a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Instead of figuratively a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It means figuratively Yu-Gi-Oh card. I can tell because of the art. Oh, is it the same Yu-Gi-Oh art? You got a little bit of that dimensional work going on over here. Same place as Gunpoint. Corbinek is like, you know, it's funny. I get accused of being a Yu-Gi-Oh player all the time, but I haven't played since Yu-Gi-Oh GX was a thing. I don't know what that means. Is that like a few days ago? Tokens are not cards, so that breaks it too. Okay. So it actually has a little bit of a different dynamic if it's cards, not tokens. Oh yeah, that's true. So if you're in a token deck, it's not going to have any influence on them. They just don't care. Okay, Brian Fried trying to go for an answer. I think the end of combat step is legit a true name for a step. It's the combat phase. But the very end of the combat phase is the damage step. That is the last moment you'd be able to play this card. Really, it should probably say cast only at damage step. If I were to become a lot more specific, because you cannot technically cast anything. I mean, I guess you can. You could say, okay, go to the end. I guess you can. You can say I go to the end of my damage step, like just like you say you go at end of turn. So that would be the end. Would end of combat be after combat damage and triggers have resolved? Exactly. Yep. Exactly. But the very end so there's like beginning of combat step, the attacker step, the blocker step, and then the damage step. And at the damage step, that is the last step of the whole combat phase. And that would be the last moment you can play your evenly matched. See, I knew some people didn't know about the damage step. So it's funny, nobody, or very rarely you would do anything there, but you can like go to damage. Okay, everyone deals damage to yourself, and then you can still play spells and abilities in the damage step before you go to the main phase. So if there's anything relevant to do, like yeah. Anyway, it's really niche. It's a niche rule. Maybe it doesn't happen. Oh, there's 5 steps: beginning of combat, declare attackers, declare blockers, combat damage. Oh, is there an end of combat step? Am I just dead wrong here? We are definitely discussing the rules. Maybe I'm learning something here. What happens at the end of combat step? Okay, hold on. Discussing. Look how I've confidently just dug myself into a hole. Combat phase. MTG. Well, I'll be dead. What do you do at the end of combat step? The 5th step. The end of combat step has no turn-based actions. Once it begins, the active player gets priority. Abilities that trigger at end of combat. Oh, I forgot about the end of combat trigger. I don't play with end of combat triggers. All right. Okay, I learned something. Thank you very much. Their priority after damage is dealt. Okay, that's funny. So I could troll someone saying, I would like to move to your end of combat step, which, like, I guess is never used. End of combat stuff ends probably. You win, Brian. You win. I have a lot of humility. I know when I'm dead wrong, especially when someone shoves the rules in my face. Okay, we're going to take a look at more custom Magic the Gathering cards. Okay, so I guess the best thing to say is cast only at end of combat step, but then that would work. That is the best time to... Is there a no Nikachu learn something square? Yeah, we could put one. You hear that, Ferginka? Okay, before this music runs out, we gotta thank our sponsors today. If you start with FusionGamingOnline.com, buy your Magic the Gathering foundations. Maybe also get singles. It's a whole new world in Modern right now. If you love the Modern format, they just unbanned Mox Opal, Faithless Looting, Splinter Twin, Green Sun Zenith, unlocking the possibilities. And of course, you want to, if you're going to want to buy your cards, please get them at fusiongamingonline.com. It supports the channel. But also, when you're buying cards, use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards on Magic Online, the digital client, where you can play Modern, Pioneer, Standard, Commander, one-on-one Commander, Vintage, Legacy. You can play them digitally, and you have access to all the cards when you're renting with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below. But don't forget, you can also get 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_4KA. And, okay, back to... Are we going to do one more freebie? One more freebie. Freebie section. Snowden. Royal Guard. I don't know the lore. It's a white 3/3 bird soldier from some cartoon I've never seen before. Flying. Last strike. Okay, prevent all combat damage dealt by Snowden Royal Guard unless it has been dealt damage this turn. Oh, so like it only deals damage if it's been dealt damage. So if someone blocks it, prevent all combat damage dealt by Snowden. So it needs... So it's pointless in combat. What's with this 1 mana 3/3 thing? This is actually a really garbage card. Last strike is a real keyword? No, it's not. That's an unsaid card. If it came from it, if it's Acorn, it's not real to me. It's dead to me. That's what it is. Strictly dead. It's really good. It's really only good as a blocker. Yeah, it might as well just say, it might as well just be a wall. Okay, it passes, but not a particularly exciting pass. Okay, let's start looking at some series. We got some guy with some cards by Iconoclast. Iconoclast. Some cards by Iconoclast. Okay, we're gonna look at you have only 3 here? I guess they're big ones. Course of Jonathan is designed to work with red-black suite of Do Thing until player hurts themselves cards like Torment of Hailfire and Mogus, as well as with White's Tithing suite. These feel like Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Okay. Oh, this was 22 Canadian dollars. Ah, yes, I feel the squeeze on you as well. I'm a fellow Canadian. A damn dollar is sinking like a damn rock right now. In compared to the American dollar. Tribute! Captain Marcus, the 4-mana 5/5 with this sort of infinity symbol. It's a human warrior. Now it's got first strike and trample. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, destroy target non-creature permanent that player controls. Wow, it's just removal for everything, which makes a little sense. It's in the Naya colors. At the start of combat on your turn, each opponent may pay 1. Why does it... Is there such thing as a start? Okay, is there a start of combat? Or is it just the beginning of... I think it's the beginning of combat step. You have to put, at the beginning of combat step, each opponent may pay 1. For each opponent that does, create a treasure token and tribute Captain Marcus. Okay, I thought tribute is a mechanic, so that got me confused. And I believe tribute is a mechanic. And tribute Captain Marcus can't attack that player or planeswalkers that player controls this turn. We use beginning of really? Is this like the shorthand these days at Wizards of the Coast? It's a shortcut. We're just saying beginning of combat, and at the start. Oh no, do we say the beginning of combat? Start of combat sounds weird. The rest of it's templated fine. So they can pay 1, and then for each of them they get the treasure, and it can't attack that player planeswalker that player controls this turn. Oh, we get the token. Okay, either I smack you for like 5 damage, or I get value. It's one or the other. You don't get 2. At the beginning of combat, I bounce your creature. I like that. Okay, Pedgeman's pretty good with this. The correct wording is, at the beginning of combat on your turn. Really? Is that how Wizards would word it? That's terrible. It's so wordy. But you know what? You custom card players, you love the wordy cards. So essentially, you get to really trample over someone, literally and figuratively, if they're tapped out. But if they're untapped, all right, you basically suck in their mana because they pay a mana to give you a mana. Love it. Next up, we've got Coercive Jonathan. This looks like a Doctor Who card. So 5 mana for a 3/5 Orc Rogue. As a spell or ability you control resolves, each opponent may pay for a life. During the resolution of that spell or ability, you control each opponent that doesn't, and those players can't look at their hands or activate abilities. So is this supposed to deal like extra pain if you play Torment of Hailfire? You build this card strictly for Torment of Hailfire? His last name is Jonathan? No, I think the name is Jonathan, and he's coercive. He's gonna make you an offer you can't refuse because he's gonna force you to. That's what it basically means here. Tribute is just the name in this instance. Yep, I understand that part. So Torment of Hailfire is like X. You have to discard cards unless you pay 3 life or something like that. So if as a spell or ability you control resolves, each opponent may pay 4 life. That's weird. Okay, so my Torment of Hailfire, it resolved. Sorry, it hasn't resolved yet, but it's going to. And they have to pay 4 life. During the resolution of that spell or ability, you control each opponent that doesn't. And those players can't look at their hands or activate abilities. Okay, so basically you get to choose like how they discard cards or pay life, if I understand. You can run the vote cards too. Oh, you control each opponent. You're going to vote my way. You're going to vote for Deeply. This guy would vote for Deeply. 100 million %. Steve Cooper's like, I can smell the Yu-Gi-Oh type wording off this. Smells like Yu-Gi-Oh. I know. I can see like there's a style to these cards. Did I somehow absorb the Yu-Gi-Oh crowd for one reason or another? Is there like no Yu-Gi-Oh community for custom card streamers? There's like no streamer for Yu-Gi-Oh custom cards. So like, well, this guy does MTG. That's good enough. It's close enough. We'll just make Magic cards instead. Nikachu needs to start playing Alexander Clamilton to compete with all these wordy cards. Oh, I don't. Those unset cards are just above and beyond for me. I meant it lets you vote for others. I came to this channel because you were on the one James. Oh, really? Interesting. That was a Yu-Gi-Oh. That's a Yu-Gi-Oh channel now at this point. Okay, we have one more. Okay, this card is fine. It's good. Well, I don't think it matters what you want, mate. Oh, a little Australian, huh? Got a little Aussie in him. Okay, and we got the Nabe Bell Pain Advocate for 5 mana. It's a 4/5 Demon Advisor. Whenever you cast a spell or activate an ability which targets a single opponent or a single permanent an opponent controls. I think it would just be best worded whenever you cast a spell or activate an ability which targets a single target controlled by an opponent. So it's just weird for you to like divide them up. You just say one, it's just like just one target. That player or the controller of that permanent chooses another player. Oh, I see. Maybe you worded it like this for a very single opponent. Single permanent an opponent controls. Oh no, I think it has to be worded like this. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can't say no, you can say single target. Yeah, I think target would still work, but maybe I'm wrong. That player or the controller of that permanent chooses another player or permanent that a spell or ability could target. If they do, you may copy that spell or ability, and the copy targets the chosen target. This ability triggers only once each turn. Okay, so basically, something gets targeted, you'd be like, nah. I'm gonna target something else. So whenever you cast a spell or ability which targets a single opponent, that player, can they just send it back at you? Oh no, but it has to be an opponent. So they have to send it to somebody else. That's just weird. So it's like basically what this card says. I'm going to target this one thing, and then you double it, and you tell me where it's actually going. David Groves, you're like 30 minutes behind the show. End of combat is its own step. Yeah, I learned. I am learning. I'll do better. Okay, I will do better. My fam, my coffee crew. I'm gonna be a better streamer. I never heard of the end of combat step. I never do squat there. I've done a lot of stuff at the damage step though. I'm just thinking, does it show the end of combat step on Magic Online? I want to say no, but maybe it does. So copy the spell as long as the target is happy with it. The target is like never going to be happy. I mean, unless it's a good thing. Oh yeah, okay. If it's a good thing. This is the definition of double it and pay it forward. You know what? Would you like to take this damage, or would you like to double it and pay it forward? Yeah, double it and pay it forward. It's usually going to be bad. It's a politic. It's very politically. Give pain to another of my enemies. Yeah, anyone but you, basically. Okay, let's take a look at some more cards here. We're going to move on to Darth Taurus. Christmas carols. Ooh, I love it. Is this the last? Is it the last show before Christmas? Christmas carols top 5 favorite. Oh, you did a lot of them. Okay, here's the top 5 favorites. We'll look at 3 right now, and we'll take a look at 2 more afterwards. The Christmas Carol Songbook. Songbook? Oh, we play with... I guess we play this on a piano, if I understand this picture correctly. It's 14 mana! Affinity for carols. Oh, we can get a discount. Cost 1 less to cast for each carol you control. Quadruple Snow. Tap. Search your library for a carol, reveal it, then put it into your hand, then shuffle. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 12 carols with different names, Christmas Carol Songbook deals 12 damage to each opponent, then exile Christmas Carol Songbook. Here, if you control 12 carols with different names, this is basically like if you have Maze's End and like a bunch of guilds or something. This is the last Christmas before the show. What's going on here? When's Christmas? I don't think there's going... Yeah, I think this is the last one. I don't think we're going to have a custom card stream on Christmas. We're going to miss it. Maybe not. I'll figure it out. It might be early. Bingo alert. Mana cost. 12 mana. That is a big mana cost. Whereas 15 plus mana, that's not enough. What about the mana cost? No, it needs to be... It's not 15 mana. It's 14 mana. It's not big enough. We need bigger mana. It needs to be more than 14. Okay. It's quite the assembly you need to do there with the Christmas Carol. Okay, good King I don't know how to pronounce this. Wenceslas. This is... What the hell is this? A tri-hybrid land? Are those real? Is this real, chat? 4 mana for a 2/2 human noble carol. Oh, the carols are like card types. I mean, I know it's some sort of card type. I thought it'd be like an artifact. Okay, for triple Naya, tap. Starting with you, each player creates a food token until a total of 9 food tokens have been created this way. Each player creates a food token. Oh, so... Everyone's basically going to get 9 food tokens, or everyone's going to get 8 food tokens. Then by the time it gets to you, you have 9. Unless you have a bunch of food already in play. If you got 5 food in play, then you can top yourself up to 9, but you're going to give a bunch of stuff to somebody else. Okay, now that's a bingo. We got 5 plus types. We got legendary creature, human noble carol. 5 plus words in the card type. You know how it works, Brian Feet. Too slow in the draw there, Toilet Duck. A total of 9. Yeah, but only you. Till a total of 9 food tokens have been... Oh! Created this way. So you can have 5 in play, but you're still going to get the 9. Because we need to make 9 tokens made this way. Each player Oh, no, so everyone gets it, by the way. I thought it would be like 1 at a time until you have 9. No, Nikachu. It distributes 9 in total. So if you're at 2, it's 5, and 4. If you are at 4, or if you are with 4 players, it's 3, 2, 2, 2. Oh, total. Starting with you, each player creates a food until. Oh, I thought no, but I thought it says starting with you. Oh, it does say starting with you. Each player creates a food token. You know what? This is confusing, but I think you're right, Pedgeman. I agree with you. I feel like you need to. Well, I guess that you don't really need to know the rules very well. I don't play with these weird cards. You know what? When I go to a tournament, there's no such thing as all right. Let's all make tokens. Let's all make yeah. Let's all make food tokens. Let's all make treasure tokens. No, it doesn't work like that. The way it works is I get everything, you get nothing. Oh, by the way, you can't play your spells because I counter or lock you out of the game or blood moon you or something. Yeah, that's what starting with you means. Not necessarily. Yeah, if there are 3 players, everyone gets 3. Okay, I love it. Food for everyone. And also the picture is very thematic. Also might help you with your affinity deck because you put a bunch of artifacts on the battlefield. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Is red-nosed 2 different words, or is that 1 word? I think we'll give it 1 word. I think we'll give it 2 words. So it's 5 plus words in the name. It's a reindeer carol. It's a 3/4. That's flying. That's very flavorful. That's a flavor banger. For 9 mana, tap. If you control no other reindeer, create 8 legendary red, green, and white 2/2 reindeer creature tokens with flying. Each named one of the following: Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. If you control no other reindeer, all of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. That's it. Well, then why is he bringing them to the party? Should tell him to F off. Why is he calling them? It's really Santa is the one that brings all the other reindeers to the yard. That's a hyphenated words. That's how the claymation film was spelled. Bingo, long name. Out of the corner of my eye, I thought the creature type said reindeer god. You know, I mean, they're flying creatures. I would not be surprised if they are gods of some sort. So, okay, how strong is this card? It's a 4 mana 3/4, and then for 5 mana, we can conjure 16 power on the battlefield. This is actually just insane. I think actually this card is I don't know if I want to say it's OP. It's like, but you put 16 power on the battlefield. This has got to be too strong. Sorry, it's 16. It's 16. We're putting 16 power on the battlefield after activation. And then if we count Rudolph, it's like 19. And mind you, you have every reason to chump block with all of them. And if they all die, you get to do this again. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is evil. Just throwing all the other reindeer to the wolves. They die. Yeah, with a sacrifice outlet is insane. So Rudolph is really cruel. It's like calling over these reindeer, killing them, or sending them to the slaughter, and then calling over more every single turn. As worded, you can create 8 reindeer named Prancer, which is a bit of a flavor fill. Oh. If you control no other reindeer, create 8 legendary green and red and white 2/2 reindeer creature tokens with flying, each named one of the following. I don't know. You know what? Me grammar no good. Maybe you understand better. Rimple, they're legendary. If you have 2 with the same name, it will sack 1. Oh yeah, that's true. He is a cruel god! Unbelievable. Oh yeah, that's what revenge, that's the revenge, isn't it? I suppose so. With a sacrifice outlet is powerful, but I think even without the sacrifice outlet, it is not. It's powerful. Do I have a PO box? I do have a PO box. It should be in the description as you see it. Do you not see it in the description? Yeah, it's right there. It's been there. It's been there every single. Just let me know if you send me something big, so I keep an eye on that PO box like on a very regular basis. Yeah, die, die for me, you lesser reindeer. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not broken. It's a lot of work to get this going. And here's another thing. If you have no sack outlet, you cannot make more of these unless they all die. So, like, you can block or kill 7 out of 8. But you need to have no other reindeer. If you have one reindeer on the battlefield, you can't use this thing. You can't use this thing again. You have to have no other reindeer in play. Can't make reindeer. If you have other reindeer, you gotta sack all 8. Well, that's easy for you, but I'm saying the opponent, if you don't have a sack outlet, then you can't regurgitate this ability over and over again. Anyway, really nice discussion piece, if nothing else. Well, now I'm curious. Okay, well, we're gonna look at the other two later. Majra, of course. Always a Majra series. The Wandering Presbytery Part 5. Wandering. I don't see a Part 5. I see a Part 6. Oh no, here's Part 5. We didn't do this one? Or is this the one I accidentally spoiled? Featuring Pope Alexander. Honestly, if the Pope looked like that, I might convert. It's a very beefy Pope, I must say. Okay, this is 6 mana for a 4/3 human cleric noble. As long as you control at least 2 other clerics, Pope Alexander is indestructible. Canadian Mail is on strike. Yes, it is. Which means I may or may not get the mail very quickly. It might happen very slowly. Whenever you cast a spell for its miracle cost, reveal the bottom card of your library. If the revealed card's mana value is equal or less than the spell's mana value, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. Otherwise, put it into your hand. Are we double miracling here? So whenever you cast a spell for its miracle cost, so I got 1 card. Well, maybe I'm not getting 2 cards, but it is card advantage, right? So I got 1 card for cheap. Then we get to reveal the bottom card. If its mana value is equal or less than the spell's mana value, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. That is insane. Ugh. That's value. Bingo, we already did this. Not technically, no. It was an accident. We didn't actually do. Okay, do you know what? I'll actually give it to you. We sort of already did this many weeks ago. I spoiled this card by accident. No mail from the US to Canada. Interesting. They banned it. You sent your package just in time. Yeah, cast a second miracle or draw the bottom of your card of your deck. Also, bingo for grammar. It should say equal to. Oh my god. Where? Reveal the bottom of your card if the revealed card's mana value is equal or equal. I didn't even catch that. I'm just gonna. Oh, also this is a Majra series. Where is grammar? Learn grammar. Majra's from Europe. You gotta give Majra a break. Okay, so I want to say this card's okay. Like, it's fine. So first off, miracling things are difficult. Like, of course, you can like stack the top of your deck. But you can also, so now we're getting a payoff for not only stacking the top of our deck, but also stacking the bottom of our deck with the not surveil cards, scrying cards. So scrying actually has value. You got to keep track of like what is actually on the bottom because your Pope Alexander gets to cast them for free. Oh, interesting. David Groves. UK Post Office also says no mail to Canada. They're like, pay us more money or we're doing nothing. And they're very persistent. All right, Pope Alexander is a boss. Next card, the Headmaster Belphegor. This is a 4-mana 5/3 human spirit cleric. It's got Wither. Wither, top. This is like the top 5 mechanics. The casuals would love to see come back again. Also has flying. Whenever a cleric enters, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard otherwise go to creature. You get both? Or you get, well, you get one or the other. Whenever a human or cleric you control attack a player. Whenever a human or cleric you control attack a player with an empty graveyard, it gain flying until end of turn. Really should say it gains flying until end of turn. So, okay, again, I've said this in the past. I love this empty graveyard mechanic. This is a great idea, where if your opponent has an empty graveyard, you get some more benefits. And on top of that, you have a card here that facilitates that. So when it enters, only when it enters, how about an attack? No, okay, so when it enters, you can either empty someone's graveyard or you can go to creature. And then, I want to say, like, the goading a creature isn't necessary, but whatever. Wither is underrated. I wouldn't know. Yeah, honestly, I don't know a single competitive card with Wither. I have no idea how this card plays out. Nikachu for Prime Minister? What, just to solve the post office problem? I don't think so. That sounds like too much work for too little gain, and I don't even know how to fix the problem. I might almost have this. You know what I think would be interesting with this card? Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, period. That's it. And then basically your humans and clerics gain flying until end of turn. Like, it's a creature that gives all your other creatures evasion upon like with this ability. I think that would be a little bit more interesting. I think you have the go to creature because you're just commander players. You just like goading things. Okay, we got Kiss the Tears Away. It's a 2-mana kindred instant for humans. Put a shield counter on target creature, then gain life equal to twice its mana value. Scry 2. If the target is a human or a cleric, put another shield counter on it, then draw a card. This card, it feels just wrong. Feels like there's a lot going on here. So it's basically a counter spell, plus it's going to have an extra counter spell attached to it because you put another shield counter on it. Then you gain a bunch of life and you scry 2, and then you draw a card. I just think it's just too much. Ban for kissing? Maybe? There's some... I don't know how much... No, do they have kissing on the forehead? There's definitely no kissing on... Or there's one kissing on with lips now. I think they meant... Yeah, it's not the lips. I'm pretty sure that they just printed a card where there's kissing on lips. It's the first one ever. That's fair. Too cheap for what might be upwards of 20 life on a card. Yeah, I mean, like, if someone's tapped out... So this is what I'd be concerned about. You're tapped out, and someone would be just, like, kiss the tears away on their creature, gain a boatload of life, draw a card, and put, like, 2 shield counters. It seems frustrating. I think this card just does way too much. I think you gotta cut half of its abilities and I would say get rid of half of its abilities and make it half the mana. Or make it I don't know, make it a sorcery so that you can never do it in response to anything else. Which card? I'm curious. I don't know. I saw it came out of one of the newer sets or something like that. Double the mana cost? That might work too. This is MTG. There's no kissing zone. It's just weird. Yeah, no kissing in the cards. We've discussed that in the past. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna take a look at your last 2 cards later, but we're gonna shuffle it up to Trent Sims. Thank you so much for your super chat. I got a card for you, or rather a pair of partners. Morgan Misthollow Huntress and the Hound. Misthollow. Is it this? No. Was it more? Look, I'm gonna look up Morgan. I can't find this card. It doesn't exist. Where am I? Morgan. It doesn't exist. Trent, are you around? Or did you post this on like the custom card, like on Reddit? Morgan Misthollow. Do we have to go back to Reddit? Morgan Mist Hollow. It is. Supposed to post it in my Discord. I got a Discord for a reason, damn it. Type it just oh, did you just put it in the Discord? Here, I'm gonna jump to present. I don't see it. Whatever, that's okay. I found it on Reddit. Although I highly prefer that you post these on in my Discord. Okay. Morgan Miss Hollow Huntress. This is a 2-mana 2/1. It's a human scout. Partner with Hound, the Hound of Mist Hollow, the card on the left. This creature enters the battlefield. Sorry, when this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Hound of Mist Hollow into their hand from their library, then shuffle. What? When this creature enters the battlefield. This is like reminder text for this reminder text doesn't make any sense to me here. When this creature enters the battlefield, target player may put Hound of Mist Hollow. Oh, that's how partner works. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, got it. Yeah, from 5 years ago. It's an old card. Still good today. Yeah, that's the part. Sorry, I forgot that. I think I got confused with the partner mechanic and the other partner mechanic. Oh, that's not how partner works? Okay, maybe that's where I'm confused. Because partner is just like you can have the 2 cards in the command zone, right? I think that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, first strike. When an opponent casts their second spell each turn, investigate. Totally fine. Everyone gets to investigate around here. Opponent casts their whenever each turn. Oh no, sorry, you get to investigate. So if the opponent casts too many spells, you are actually cashing in on this. There's partner and partner with, which is different. Partner with is different from partner. Okay, so is this right or is it wrong? Partner's reminder text is, if this card is your commander, the other card name can also be your commander. That's how I understand. Oh, so okay, what is partner with then? Is this how partner with works? Where you ETB and you can like tutor up the other partner? I will continue. Okay, we got to go the Hound of Mist Hollow. This is a 4-mana 5/3. And when it comes into play, you can go get your Morgan Mist Hollow Huntress. It's got trample, and at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature becomes a werewolf in addition to its other types. So, you know what would make this a little bit more interesting? Or maybe not. Maybe it's interesting by itself. So you've set it up in a way where if the opponent casts too many spells, you get value. You get to investigate. But if they cast no spells, you also get value. This creature gets +1/+1 and becomes this creature. Oh, we can turn other creatures into werewolves. That's how it works. Okay, this is correct. It was done correctly. You know what? That's just the crappy thing about Wizards of the Coast. They're making too many mechanics that look and sound similar to older mechanics. So we're looking at partner with, and I'm like, what the hell is this thing? It's a weird mechanic. Okay, so it works out perfectly. I like how you've designed these cards. I sort of wish okay, so this one, Hound of Mist Hollow, is pretty good because this card is turning a lot of other creatures into werewolves and they get bigger. Morgan Mist Hollow, not as exciting, but I guess fine. And if they cast their second spell each turn, you get to investigate, but harder mechanic to make use of. You need a lot of mana to crack those tokens. The game needs to be really slow moving. Yes, there are assigned partners at times. Cool. Should be leashed by or something like that. Oh, God. Leashed? Sounds pretty wrong. Sounds very dominatrix-y like. Morgan, Miss Hollow Huntress. Also, dominatrix, possibly. Yeah, it'd be very kinked. Very kinked. Very kinked, Roy. Maybe you like leashing some creatures. Okay, I love it. I think it's a great pair. All right, moving on. We got Steve Cooper with a huge super chat and a dono to Pedgeman. Grab bag of cards series 4. Grab bag of cards series 4. You already have a series 5. I can see it. Okay, let's take a look at. We'll look at 2 of your cards and we'll get one from Pedgeman. Why don't you have pictures, Steve Cooper? You grab it from anywhere. Okay, we have a red-white 1/1. It's a dog equipment aura. Bestow of 1. Oh, you brought back Bestow. Enchanted/equipped creature gets +1/+1 and equipped for a red. What the hell is this card? Okay, so we can bestow it for a 1. So it can be an enchantment on a creature, or we can equip it later. Okay, so the way a bestow works is if you kill the original creature, I believe the bestow creature stays, if I understand correctly. Or is it like if you try to bestow a creature and you kill the creature in response, the bestow like goes onto the battlefield? Now I don't remember what happens to the bestow creature if you kill the original. I don't play with the bestow. The last time I played with bestow was literally like some sort of Theros pre-release. That was the last time I played. Theros block pre-release. Reconfigure would be a more suitable way to do this card. Maybe. But wanted the bestow on here. Wanted to make a 6+ type line card. Too late. Oh, I see. You did it for the sake of experimentation. All right, moving on. The Bubble Umbra. This is a blue 1 generic aura. Enchanted creature gets +0/+1. Now it's got Ward Umbra. Whenever this aura or another or enchanted creature becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter it unless the player pays 1. I don't understand why is it Ward Umbra whenever this aura or an enchanted creature. Oh, so if you try to destroy the aura itself, it also has ward. It all has ward. The aura has ward, and also the creature that it's warding off wards. Okay, that's cool. And then we have a dono to Pedgeman. Pedgeman has like had a word. Okay, be right back. Well, you're not even gonna be here then. Ustuho. What the hell do I pronounce that? Ustuho. Hopefully that's good enough. Stellar Dominator. Else Selja. Okay, I'm gonna look at the. You have it's 2-sided. Well, Steve Cooper only paid for 1/2, so we're gonna look at only 1/2. The 5 mana 3/6 bird demon. It's got flying and trample. Pay 2 energy. Ustuho gets +2/+0 and gains Annihilator 1 until end of turn. What is this, an Eldrazi? I don't think there's another creature type that has Annihilator except the Eldrazi. If you have 3 or less energy, exile Ustuho. Then return her to the battlefield transformed. Oh, I see. So you have to use up your energy, pay red. So you may not even see the front side. You might just end up seeing the back side, which is this, whatever this is. So what, you could pay 5 mana and get this side. It enters with 4 charge counters. I guess the idea is if you have the energy already, you get Ustuho. But if you don't have the energy, I guess you can start building up the energy. Okay, we have 2 bingo alerts. Dono to Pedgeman and the waifu card. There's the waifu card. And there is... Where's the dono to Pedgeman? It's beautiful. You love to see it. People love the bingo card. The Jaded says, a buddy of mine is really confused. That recruiting bound in silence out of the deck actually is just attaching, which, unlike targeting, deals with this shrouded... Oh, deals with his shrouded Blastoderms? Why is your friend playing with Blastoderm? That is so 2000s. That's so 2001. I think that the character's lore is she does nuclear explosion stuff, to my knowledge. Oh, she likes to play with fire, huh? Nuclear fire! Okay, so, It's interesting. The card looks OP, but when it enters the battlefield, you can end up having 3 or less energy, and then it's just useless. Nikachu's missing bingo spaces. Well, it's supposed to remind me. You know, sometimes I remember, but I got a show to run here, people. I got a show to run. I can't remember everything that happens on this show. 4 Paths of Life. Thank you very much for your super chat. Hold fast. Is that it? Hold fast. The endothermic season approaches. It's a one-off, but let me know if you want a series of this. I love me some good snow. I love me some lands. I love the lands. The endothermic season. The first thing I always look when looking at a new set, not the blue cards, not the artifacts, it's the lands. I want some cool looking stuff around here. So everyone can play lands. Snowland. All lands are snowlands. Okay, winter came soon. Non-snow permanents gain when it... whenever this permanent is tapped, put a stun counter on it? If it's already has a stun counter on it, put an ice counter on it instead. I don't even know what an ice counter is. This card is broken! In danger! If it's not snow, this would completely warp the game. This is you have like a 4-mana enchantment on a land, as far as I'm concerned. You had me at all lands or snowland. I think that's cool. I don't think it hurts that much to have such a card on here. How much for a review of a mostly custom 360 cards cube? Oh, I'll tell you. There's a price for it. Natanel. Is it custom cards? So 360 times $5 equals 1,800 US dollars. That's the price. I highly suggest you don't go for it, but I will do it. Oh my god, I would make a... it would be like raiding somebody's custom cube. And here's the red cards. I wonder if I'd have to do that all day. 360 cards? Like how many... Okay, let's say there's 8 hours times 60 minutes equals 480 divided by 360. I don't know if I could do this. I have to go through a card every 1 minute and 3 seconds. Sorry, every like 1 minute, 1.3 minutes. So it's like 1 minute, 20 seconds. That sounds exhausting. Okay, anyway, getting back to this. The stun counter thing is too much. It's too strong. Okay, Frigid Landscape. It's a legendary snowland. If a permanent's name contains 1 or more words starting with any of the following, it is a snow permanent. Arctic, blizzard, boreal, chill, frost, glacial, ice, snow, and tundra, and winter. I would think that this card is like very unglued, like very unset-like. Snow permanents lose and can't gain any cumulative upkeep abilities. Oh, that is interesting. I think one problem with these cards you've designed is they're just too busy. Like, it has too much... It has too many abilities for a card. For a land. Like, you know, the more mana you spend on a card, the more things it can do. But this is like, it's free. You can just put this in play. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. You may, if you control 5 or more other snowlands, add 2 mana of any color. I mean, this is insane. What the hell? So, at first, it started off weird. Second, I think it's Zybird, because there's a lot of snow permanents back then that had cumulative upkeep, and they were they were maybe playable cards, but they're supreme garbage because of the stupid cumulative upkeep, which was not necessary. And then it's a soul land at the end of the day. It's a soul land. This is just a rainbow land, but yeah, with no downside. Yeah, add 1 mana. It's 5 color land. And if I control 5 or more other snow lands, which I will because the other card makes all our permanents snow, it's gonna add 2 mana. Yeah, it's legendary. It's fine. Nothing wrong here. The last one broke it. Maybe it shouldn't be legendary either, so you can more reliably build a strategy. Okay, this is too broken. They're way too broken. Aurora, Boreal Night Mistress. Now this is very Winter Fox-like. This whole series is Winter Fox-like. 6 mana for a 5/5. Noble Moonfolk. Protection from non-snow cryopathy. This deals damage to creatures in the form of ice counters. If it is not night, it becomes night. Night can't become day. Interesting. When Aurora Oh, is this like Aurora Borealis? So when Aurora Boreal Night Mistress enters and during your upkeep, put an ice counter on each other creature. Whenever a non-snow creature enters, put an ice counter on it. Whenever a non-snow creature has 5 or more ice counters on it, exile it. Whenever a non-snow creature has 5 or more ice counters on it, exile it. That's fine. This card I can actually get behind. This is the first card I can get behind. So it costs a reasonable amount of mana. It's 6. And also, it needs to be snow. I don't know about the protection from non-snow. It's a novel. Yeah, it's written like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Did we hit that one yet? We did not hit you. These are all Yu-Gi-Oh cards, honestly. They aren't small enough that I have to squint, but like that's the whole text box is loaded. The text box is loaded like a plate full of food at an American restaurant. People from America can vouch for me. Dot by learned about the end of combat damage step 2. Dot by, welcome. We are 1 hour 10 minutes in the future, but we are speaking to you in the past from the future. I know you'll catch up. Yeah, it's almost reasonable. Exile everything in 3 turns. No, not 3 turns, right? Enters and during your upkeep, if it has 5 or more, so it takes 5 turns. It has protection from non-snow unless you play snow. So, okay, here's the deal. I think the protection from non-snow still makes it, like, somewhat broken. It's like a true name nemesis. Okay, I don't know if it's that bad. It might not. Oh, there we go. Can't get rid of this card. That's a bingo alert. You can't get rid of this card. And with that, we got a bingo. There we go. It's beautiful. Which means at the end of the show, we'll look at least one more. We'll look at least one more card from the. We'll give a freebie to chat. It also deals damage in the form of ice counters. Reddit space. Notice me, senpai. What does that mean? Ice counters are making snow permanents, or is it stun? I don't know, actually. Why is it? Okay, if there was no protection from non-snow, perfect card. Like, perfect. But the fact that it's literally indestructible might be a Well, I mean, it's not super indestructible. Still dies to sweepers or whatever. This deals damage to creatures in the form of ice counters. Like, there's still a lot of ways. Reddit search bingo. Well, I'm not doing that. Oh, hold on. Oh, was there a Reddit search? Yeah, there was a. Wow, that almost never happens. We got a Reddit search. This is like a space I don't want to encourage. For Gink, what do you do? Okay, I noticed you, Brian. I didn't even know there was a Reddit search on the bingo card. Osif says their ice counters are from Ice Age. They don't have to have any normal effects, but this card adds interaction. Okay, this one, I am not certain. Do you know what? I'm going to give it a pass. So it's basically just a creature like True Name Nemesis, protection from everything, but not it's literally not protection from everything. Can be sacrificed, can be blown away by board wipes. You can just attack through it. It's a weird. It should have something. It should destroy itself. I think whenever a it's only whenever a non-snow creature has 5 or more ice counters. Hopefully this is not broken. I could be totally wrong. This card could be like insanely busted. It kills on a threshold of ice counters. Yeah, basically. All right, next up, let's take a look at... next up on the list is Nova, the Space Wolf. The Blade of the Exile. What the hell is this? They all have the same picture, Nova. These are artifact tokens? You want to share us tokens? Okay, hold on. What's the card? Because I have a feeling it goes with the card. We'll read the card first, and then we'll look at 3 of these tokens, because this is a double-sided card. Okay, Riven, the Exile, the 3-mana 3/4 human Noxian warrior. When Riven the Exile enters, declare an attack. Oh, sorry. When it enters, declares an attack, or at end of your turn, reforge. When you reforge, randomly create a black fragment artifact that you haven't created before. Once all 3 blade fragments have been created, create a Blade of the Exile artifact and reset the pool. The first time you create the Blade of the Exile artifact, transform Riven the Exile into Riven the Reckoner. It's a 4/5 human Noxian warrior. When Riven the Reckoner enters, declare an attack, or at end of your turn, reforge. So we're going to rebuild this blade. Each turn, the first time Riven the Reckoner... Sorry, each turn, the first time Riven the Reckoner's power increases, permanently increase Riven the Reckoner's power by that amount. That is very arena-like. Not really fond by that last ability. Just say it gets a +1/+1 counter instead of like permanently gains this effect, or like perpetually. So not really a big fan of this permanently increase Riven. Just say it gets counters or something. So it's a lot more a lot easier for a it's a Legends of Runeterra card. Oh, for sure. Or you know what? You could use the word perpetual. That's an actual mechanic in Arena. Like that's a real thing. But not for paper cards. It's for digital cards. You could say this is a digital card. So I mean, if you want, you could say it perpetually increases Riven the Reckoner's power by that amount, and give it and then use the what's it called alchemy symbol. Because outside of that, I mean, the card is totally fine. It's great. Mappius is like, I mean, Runeterra is digital, so it has to be an alchemy card. I mean, well, you know what? I honestly can't tell what is digital and what isn't around here. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these artifact tokens. Blade, is this the Blade of the Exile, or is these the tokens? Oh, these are the fragments. So we got Blade of the Exile. It's a token. Pay 1, sack it. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 counter, trample, and first strike. Activate only as a sorcery. That is so much work to get this online. You have to sack it in the end, and then it gets broken up into fragments. Oh, does each one just give you 1 fragment? Sack it. Target creature you control gets first strike. Activate only as a focus. This instant or activated ability cannot be cast or activated during the combat phase or in response to the stack. Why not? I suppose it's flavorful to the card. So this one also will give +1/+0. And then the last one will give trample. Honestly, I love it. I love the idea. But hold on, it says this is a token artifact. I don't know where these token artifacts come from. Reforge. When you reforge, randomly create a... Oh, you have to randomly create one? It's like you roll dice. You could end up like 12 keen blade fragments, 3 glint blade fragments, and then you might end up with 0 heavy blade fragments. You didn't activate nothing. Can't be responded to, should just be called split second. Yeah, it could. That's for sure. Bingo alert. New creature type, the Noxian. New creature type. Noxian it is. Riven makes them with Reforged. Yeah, okay, I understand. I understand. It works. I think it works. I have no idea how easy or hard this is to assemble because you have to. I have a feeling. I'm not certain. I have a feeling this mechanic sort of sucks. Like when if you actually play with it, like it's just so hard to. So it enters the battlefield. Oh, what's interesting is you can declare. Oh no, do we have to be attacking with this card, or do we just have to declare attack and then go to the second main? So it enters the battlefield, and at end of turn, we're definitely reforging. And I guess we're just randomly creating these things until we can combine them all together into the Exodia, which it doesn't even win the game on the spot. It's just a nice pump spell that you have to do sort of at sorcery speed. Okay, with that, I think it's very interesting. And thank you for you had more cards than you super chatted, but they're all pretty easy to follow because they're all on the same theme. So that worked out. Thank you very much. Next up, let's get. Oh, Brian Freed has another super chat. Interesting. Nyrissa Chronicles updated. Got double updated. We haven't updated enough, apparently. Starting with, you have 4 for 4 plus colors and mana cost. You see, people are gaming the system. Is that even a thing? 4 plus colors in the mana symbol. All right, it's a thing. This is cheating. It's purely this is super cheating. Also note that the fragments are end of turn. The blade is permanent. Oh, is it? Oh, I missed that. I thought you're using it for. I thought it broke up into fragments. You had to reassemble it again. Thanks for pointing that out. 7 mana, 5/4. We have a Satyr Wizard with Jaunt. This creature can't be affected by spells or abilities that don't target it. Huh? This creature can't be affected by spells or abilities that don't target it. I mean, that's basic. It's basically saying, what's it called? Do we have a super chat for that? Just pointing out the obvious. It's pointing out the obvious. It's immune to board wipes. This creature cannot be affected by spells. That's just awfully worded. Board wipes don't work. Well, then call it. It's indestructible then. So yeah, if you're immune to board wipes, that means you are indestructible. When you cast a spell that wasn't plotted, you may exile a. But that's like most cards. You may exile a non-land card from your hand with lower mana value. If you do, draw a card, and the exiled card becomes plotted. Oh, so this card plots cards. Whenever you cast a plotted spell for the first time on each of your turns, it gains Demonstrate. I don't even know what Demonstrate is. Demonstrate MTG mechanic. What does it do? Cards with Demonstrate let you copy the spell when you cast it, but also let an opponent copy that spell. It is therefore especially suited for politics. You're going to politics everyone. It can be murdered, but not wrath. Yeah, it is weird. This card cannot be affected by spells or abilities that don't target it. Anyway, just... Oh, so... You want it to be vulnerable. Because, oh yeah, you actually figured it out. So it's like vulnerable to removal spells, but not board wipes. Yeah, it can be murdered, but not wrathed. It's like Jaunt as a keyword. It's immune to mass exile or like Cyclonic Rift. This is just a weird mechanic. There's gonna be a lot of situations that, like, what does affected mean? This is very Yu-Gi-Oh like. I can feel the Yu-Gi-Oh spilling out in this card. I would prefer that this card's language is a lot more cleared up. Because as it works, I don't think it works within the rule set. I hate Sunfall so much, so 100% print the set. But just like, what isn't Sunfall destroy? Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next card. We got Nyrissa, Anarchy Blast. It's a funny mana cost, 5 mana, legendary sorcery. You may cast a legendary sorcery only if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. Scott's Drive. The spell costs 2 mana more to cast for each target beyond the first. And then destroy any number of target permanents. Those permanents deal damage equal to their converted mana cost to their controller. And then draw a card for each permanent destroyed this way. Interesting. So it's 5 mana. We cash in. We also blast someone to the face. Maybe a little poke, a little, but then you can do this multiple times. So and you can't be with infinite colorless mana. You need to have colored mana, and it needs at least two different types of mana. So if you go infinite on blue mana, that's not enough. You need black and red. I like it. I like this card. I like this card a lot. Exactly, Pedgeman. Protection doesn't protect from stuff that doesn't target. I know, it's very weirdly worded. Yeah, I think this card is fine. I think it's a decent value play, too. So it's basically like, for 5 mana, 1 mana destroys a creature, 1 mana draws a card, and another mana, or I guess 2 mana destroys something, 1 blue probably draws a card, and then 2 mana blasts somebody in the face. And the permanent could be huge. Imagine, like, destroying an Eldrazi. Maybe PSCT should be called problem-causing card text. Maybe. Anyway, I like it. That's value. It's funny, this has the Throne of Eldraine set symbol, but then all these other cards have something that sort of looks like the Throne of Eldraine set symbol, but it's not it. Okay, 6 mana for the Miage Say Day. This is a legendary artifact. Enter the battlefield tapped. Tap, you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast your next spell. Put a wisdom counter on the Miage Say Day. 6 mana tap. Remove 5 wisdom counters from the card until the next end step. You may cast spells without paying their mana cost. Exile this thing. So for 6 mana, you may cast spells. I think you should be only allowed to cast 1 spell. I think if you can cast all your spells, it's broken. It's too easy to abuse this card, even in Commander. Just easily ramp up to 6 mana super fast. Remove 5 wisdom. Oh, no, you need the 5 wisdom counters. Wisdom counters don't come easily. You may... Okay, I take it back. I think actually this is hard to set up. You would have to... I mean, you could proliferate, I guess. But outside of proliferate, you have to spend your time building up the wisdom counters. You have to remove 5, and then you can basically go ham. Need an artifact on tapper, or you just need several turns. You need to be patient, Talathar. We need to exercise some patience around here. Yeah, 1 turn... You mean Omniscience with 5 turns. Yeah, 5 turns of setup. So I take it back. William says, Sunfall Exile board wipe creates a big creature and gives card draw off Beanstalk or Caretaker's talent. Most awful card in Standard. Single-handedly kills Indestructible as well. Oh, Sunfall? Yeah, that's a card. It works. Okay, the Miage Sea Day. I like it. Honestly, maybe it's underwhelming. Given that you have to spend you have to sink 6 mana into this and then wait 5 turns to get all the counters on it. Brian is like, I'll try to make a better wording for John. Yes, please. It's either that or just make the creature indestructible. It's okay. There's a lot of creatures indestructible. People love indestructible creatures. All right, next up. Who's next? The damn draws. With Heavy is the Crown and Frigid Terraformer. Oops. Heavy is... Found it. Oh, it was right below. Okay, we got 5 mana for a Shackle. Shackle target player. Now remember, Shackle is like, it's an artifact that goes on somebody or a permanent. Shackled player becomes the Monarch and cannot lose a Monarch status. Other players' spells and abilities must target the Shackled player if able. Oh my god. And then unshackle for 7 mana. Now the opponent can unshackle this thing, and they want to. They need to get rid of this thing, because only spells and abilities must target the player if able. Old Thoughtseize, old Lightning Bolts, old Cryptic Commands. Or maybe not Cryptic. Is it Cryptic? No, maybe not Cryptic Command. Old Colligan's Commands. Everything must go after the player. Rimple says, I spent ages trying to figure out a good keyword for that exact idea last year. I love Jaunt as the name. I wanted to try to make a card that you specifically must target to get rid of. That's not hard, though. And even if it has, like, Indestructible, like, it still needs to be targeted by, you know, Path to Exile. It could still be exiled by Path to Exile Swords to Plowshares, for example. Why is this called Heavy as the Crown? You become the Monarch. Oh, I see. You become the Monarch. So you do get to draw an extra card every turn, all right? That you cash that in. You know, pay your taxes, people. You send your taxes this way. But old stuff has to target you because everyone comes after the king. And when you go after the king, you best not miss. We got Frigid Transformer. Was that part of the Super Chat? Yeah, and Frigid Terraformer. It looks like an air conditioner. 3 mana Shackle. Shackle target land. If Shackled land would be tapped for mana, that land's owner adds twice that much much colorless instead. Then taps creatures they control equal to the amount of mana gained. If all their creatures are tapped, put a stun counter on each of them. Oh! So we are for very little mat. We're like ramping them. Or you. So this is not a big deal. I'm trying to think. I understand the card, I just don't know how to use it properly. It says other players so they don't have to target themselves. But, Shackle target land. If Shackled land would be tapped for mana, that land's owner adds twice, then taps creatures they control equal to the amount of mana gained. If all their creatures are tapped, put a stun counter. I'm just wondering if you can, like, put this on your own land. Because you can just put on your own stuff. Can't make colored mana. Yeah, but you make a soul land for 3 mana. It's interesting. And then you could... I don't know if you want to do this to your opponent, though. Give this to the opponent, they'll be like, okay, I'll put my stun counters on my stuff. Deal with my gigantic Eldrazi. Why don't you? Okay, moving on, we'll go to Darth Taurus. The Christmas carols. Oh yeah, let's get back to them Christmas carols. The top 5 favorites. Okay. I'm interested in this one. Okay. Oh, Silent Night. Silent Night. That's it. That's all I know. 2 mana. Legendary enchantment is also a carol. For 3 snow, tap promise a card to any number of opponents to tap up to 5 creatures those players control and put a stun counter on each of them. Then put a stun counter on this enchantment. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we just slow everything down. So you can't even perpetually use this every single turn. No, maybe you can. Okay, so I tap, promise a card to any number of opponents. We tap 5 creatures. They get a stun counter. Then this thing gets a stun counter. Then their turn goes by. They remove the stun counter. I think this card should get 2 stun counters. I'm not certain. Like, maybe it's fine by itself. Oh, you have to promise a card to any number of opponents. So you have to give somebody some card or something. They're caroling, the night's not silent. Bad flavor. What the F is a promise? A promise is you have to give something to somebody. Usually it says promise a 1/1 fish. It's like it's a very, very new mechanic. It's not old. The Jade is like, Auntie? We've never heard of the promise mechanic? Has anyone ever drafted Bloomborough here? I'm familiar with the mechanic at the very least. Yeah, it's part of the gift mechanic. You promise them a card for a bonus effect, and they draw a card. Promise promise a card is a card draw. Oh, okay. I'm just familiar with like when you give them like a token or something. Okay, so they get to cash in here, but as a result, their 5 things are tapped. All right, cool. I hope it's not abusable. Carol of the Bells, a 5 mana legendary enchantment carol for 5 mana. Should be some sort. Oh no, sorry. We're not done paying the costs. 3 mana, tap a carol you control that entered the battlefield this turn. Put a bell counter on Carol of the Bells. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Carol of the Bells has 12 bell counters on it, and you control 12 carols with different names, you win the game! Your upkeep, if Carol of the Bells has 12 counters on it, and you control 12 bells, Carol, put a bell counter. Yeah, that works! This is like another Maze's End-like card. The Jade is like, I am out of 98% of current day MTG. Yeah, me too. But I'm forced to play. You promise as you announce the spell, and becomes part of the spell's effect. If they counter it, for example, they don't get the gift. Ha! Promise broken. I promise. Just don't counter it. Brewkid said, I got 14th the most recent Modern Challenge, a multiplayer preliminary. What is the difference? Modern Challenges are longer. Preliminaries are shorter. It's 4 rounds. It's the difference. So when you're late in a tournament, the challenge is more complicated, more difficult. I'll love it. The Carol Kindred deck. Okay, let's get something from Mappius. The Cloud. What the hell is this? The Cloud Gigas? Gigas? Cloud Gigas? I don't know what this is. It's like a god? A Greek god, perhaps? 2 mana for a 5/5 giant. That's power creep. Flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, shuffle Cloud Gigas into its owner's library. Okay, so all of a sudden it's actually really bad. How do you even use this? Like, you can't use this card. Basically, you play it for 2 mana, next turn it's gone. Should have flash? I don't think that changes anything. Like, even if I flash this and play at end of turn. Oh, you mean as a blocker? Yeah, we surprise block people. Yeah, that can work. Yeah, it's a blocker. You give it haste. I like those ideas. At the moment, you have to give it haste to let it do anything. Or, oh, wait a minute. There's Fate Stitcher. Okay, what you could do is play Fate Stitcher and skip your upkeep every single turn. I believe it's your upkeep. I think Fate Stitcher lets you make it a 10/10. Maybe. Looks like a Djinn. It is basically like a 1-round defender. Yep, basically. Yeah, it's very Djinn-like. I don't know where the giant thing came from. It's a genie. It's got very genie power. Oh, and you know what? Just like a genie, it's got to go right back into its bottle. Okay, as it's worded right now, like, this is a totally legal card. But it's useless. I guess it's like a temporary blocker. It's like a very temporary wall. It's like, okay, Cloud Gigas, pass. Next, okay, don't attack into me. Next turn, I'm going to shuffle my Cloud Gigas back. Great for any ETB and leave the battlefield effects? Really? Like, maybe. It's a Gigas. That's a Greek giant. They be big! Hearthstone actually has a card just like this. Like a 3/10 for 4 or something. Well, that's Hearthstone. And that's a really chunky blocker. Where the hell did this conversation go? Horsemanship is basically alternative flying. Okay, I think this could get better. I think it could have flash. At the very least, flash. What else could it have? Yeah, flash would probably be enough. That'd make it a solid card. It goes back into the library, not the hand, so it's not consistent for ET big triggers. Exactly! That's exact. It's like, it's not coming back. Not for a while, at the very least. You don't even know where it is. Bingo Nikachu improves a card? Sure. I think this custom card is like way too easy. We need to up the ante. We need to up the complications to this thing. Especially since the custom show goes on for an eternity. Okay, next up. Let's look at the rest of Madra's series, The Wandering Presbytery Part 5. Just gotta go find Part 5. Found it. All right. We look at the Miraculous Knight. And it's miraculous, isn't it? Okay, 5 mana for a sorcery. Create a 2/2 black human cleric creature token with haste and wither. Untap target creature. Why do we need to untap anything? This is isn't this a miracle card? Untap target creature. It gains vigilance against +2/+2 for each opponent with an empty graveyard until end of turn. You have an additional combat phase after this phase. Like, what? Oh, you have to draw this on your turn? So here's the thing that I find weird. It says untap target creature. Like I just untapped, right? Like is that not what we just did? We just untapped. We drew our card for the turn. Here's our miracle. We play this thing. I can't untap my creatures more than once. Or it's like it's a redundant, is just what I'm saying. But it seems like this is for it gains vigilance +2/+2 and each opponent with an empty graveyard until end of turn. You have an additional combat phase after this phase. So basically you can play this thing for 3 mana, you get 2 combat steps, if I understand this correctly. Miracle doesn't necessarily have to be played on the main phase 1. You mean the draw step. And yes, it has to. Like that's the whole point of Miracle. I mean, unless you're playing the... Here's the thing. If you draw this on your opponent's turn and play its miracle cost, like you can't do anything with the additional combat step. Miracle is ignoring timing restriction. I mean, it's fine. It's just weird. I understand you want... you know what you're doing? You're mixing a card that wants to give you additional attack steps with your like miracle theme. So I guess it's a Miraculous Knight. It really is miraculous. Tap a potential blocker. Yeah, hopefully. It has to be your first draw unless there's some card that says otherwise, so you need to skip your draw step for that on tap. I know. Okay. It passes. Even for 3 mana. The Presbytery's Secretaries. And they seem to be in love with each other. We have a 4 mana 4/4 human cleric citizen with lifelink. When Presbytery's Secretaries enters, for each opponent you have with an empty graveyard, create 2 2/2 white human cleric creature tokens. For each other opponent you have scry 1. Interesting. Okay, so you can at least scry 1 for everyone in play, or you can get a bunch of 1 2/2 white human cleric creature tokens. So at most, what you can get 12 power in play off of this. So because you can get 6 2/2s, but that's actually honestly super unlikely. Like everyone's gonna have something in their graveyard, so it's actually much more likely that you're going to scry 1. But on the off chance that you've got everybody's graveyard wiped out, like say with Rest in Peace, I actually think you can pull this. This is like really good value. So it's like, what's it called? Let's get Nikachu's calculator out here. So you're gonna get 12 power plus the 4. You got 16 power off this creature if you go off. But you do have to set it up properly. I have a feeling the most expensive card in this deck is Rest in Peace. Okay, next up. A damn draws card. The Tranquil Frog Pond. Tranquil Frog. Froggers. It's a legendary Kindred Land Frog territory. I bet you did this for the bingo card. I bet $1 billion. We need to up the ante here on this bingo card. It's got to be like 5+ words in card type. Sorry, 6 plus cards. 6+ words in card type. Because 5's just not enough. We don't see enough custom lands on this show. I know. I love lands too. The thing I'm more fascinated by. It's a frog. It's a frog territory. Whatever that is. Tranquil Frog Pond enters tapped. Tapped out of blue or green. The first time a legendary frog enters under your control each turn, you may play an additional land. This will go great in my Bloomborough Pioneer Otter Frog deck. Actually, I don't know what frogs are available in Bloomborough. Maybe they all suck, but at least we have an enabler for them. Now, frogs you control gain 3 mana. You may exile this creature and return it to the field under its owner's control. You may exile. Oh, wow. That is absolutely insane. That is a strong effect for a creature type that I don't even think has very good support. Oh, Madra insists Miraculous Night is designed to function even outside of your turn. No, yeah, I see that. You got a little mishmash of doing something on the opponent's turn, doing something on your turn. Although I have to say, drawing cards on someone else's turn is a little difficult for a Mardu deck. Is there any such thing as a Miracle Land? Not that I know of. Because you're supposed to cast miracles. You can't cast lands. The frogs are good. Are the frogs poggers? Poggers, froggers? Making custom lands that are semi-balanced is hard. No, I think it's easy. I think the key is make the card not feel broken, okay? Like, that's the hard part is people keep making cards like lands that just do everything. Okay, here's a land. It adds multiple forms of mana, and it has a static ability that is really strong. And it tutors for this thing and that. So, like, there's just usually too many words, and there's, like, no downside. Look at this card. Enters the battlefield tapped. It's really a breath of fresh air. Almost nobody lets their lands come into play tapped. And then, the first time a legendary frog enters the battlefield under your control, you can play an additional lands. Okay, so you play a frog and you get some ramp. But you don't actually draw any cards. And then you can blink your froggies in play. Busted lands that should be 5-mana enchantments. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, I made a bunch of these for various types, so let's see how long I can keep them balanced. Yeah, I mean, this one's it's pretty strong, but it's still pretty balanced, because even for a land, the blink effect is expensive. Not prohibitively expensive, but expensive enough that it's not like pay a blue, blink, and then pay a blue, another blink. Like, if I want to do this multiple times in a turn, I have to sink at least 6 mana into it. So for that, I think this card's great. Does the land need to have a creature type as well? It feels like too much. No, it doesn't need the creature type, but there might be some cards that benefit from the creature type. I don't know how many benefit from the frog creature type, but something benefits. Okay, next up. Steve Cooper. Grab bag full of cards. Series 4 prototype. Whatever that means. The prototype. Series 4 prototype. Okay, we'll take a look at your other 2 cards here. We got the Rot Weak Tree Folk. 2 mana for a 3/4. It's got trample. That's it? Okay, so sorry. I thought this was all flavor text. Weakness against black. If this creature is blocked, targeted, dealt damage, or enchanted by anything black, destroy it. Now that is that's very unique. That is very So it finally has a downside. I like that. I like that a lot. So you have a 2-mana 3/4 with trample, which is above rate usually for a card like this. But instead of it can be really crappy versus another card. Yeah, weakness is very interesting. This is incredibly unexplored design space. You could have weakness versus red, weakness versus blue, weakness versus white, weakness versus green. Wait, hold on. Bingo alert, super chat to complete bingo. Well, it hasn't come up yet. You gotta wait. Be patient, Toilet Duck. Yeah, it's in queue. Okay, wanted slightly push stats with downside. Should have pushed a bit more, mayhaps. No, I think you nailed it with this. This is perfect. This is really perfect. Could have more. I don't know. Do you know what? I could even see a world where you're like, you buff it up more, but then it has like weakness versus black and red, or weakness versus black, red, and blue, for example. I really like the idea that it's weak versus its enemy colors. So weak versus blue and black in this case. I like it. I really like the design of this thing. It like opens up a whole new universe of design space. That's what that mechanic does. And then we got the Silver Shy Fairy, a 2-mana 3/1 with flying, weakness against artifacts. Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. You could have weakness versus enchantments, weakness versus anything. This could be a lot better. Or can it? I think maybe this card could be a lot better. It could maybe it could be a 1-mana 3/1. Or I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy. Toilet Duck, speaking of waiting, bingo, another bingo alert. We got the 2-hour stream. Where is it? 2-hour stream. At the same time, I don't think it's that big of a deal you get an immediate land drop. Of course not. 2-mana 10/10 with trample, weak to 4 colors. That's for 2 mana. That might be it. I don't know. I can't tell if it's fair. Because remember, like, it gets destroyed if it's blocked, but at the same time, if you have enough removal spells to back up your 10/10, then like it's not gonna work. Silver Shy Fairy doesn't say or enchanted. If this creature is blocked, well, you can't get enchanted by an artifact, right? If the creature is blocked, targeted, or dealt damage by any artifact, destroy it. I guess there's an exception if it's an artifact. If you get it too strong because of the weakness, it just becomes sideboard against the other cards. Oh, absolutely. I excluded weak to artifact because artifacts don't enchant. Maybe to make it easier and simplified, we just remove the artifact one. It's just weak versus colors. But I like the design. I think you got something real. I think you have something very special here. I think you've opened up the floodgates to a whole new range of possibilities for creating Magic the Gathering cards. Finally, you can push something and then give a very reasonable downside. Okay. The damn draw is, well, somebody is getting married. Oh, I think I've heard that quote before. Oh god, this guy. I totally forgot that this guy existed. I don't think they made it to... I don't think this actor is still alive for Spaceballs 2, unfortunately. Well, somebody's getting married. 4-mana legendary enchantment. Enchant target creature. Enchanted creature gains Soulbound. And then activated abilities of the paired creatures cost 2 less. Up to once per turn, their triggered and activated abilities trigger and activate twice. This card's awesome. It's super flavorful. That's what I like about it. I don't know what the triggering thing had to do with anything, but Whatever, that's fine. These custom shows open up so much design space that is seemingly ignored by Wizards of the Coast. Empty graveyards, jaunt weakness. Oh, make no mistake, to damn draws. They're gonna steal them! They stole Pedgeman's rooms idea. I can't tell, or if it was just a giant coincidence he came up with rooms, and then they printed rooms like half a year later. I like it. Well, somebody's getting married. Give a creature soulbound. Give them the gift of soulbound. Abignate, the Grimjaw. That is Grimjaw Primal King. I was inspired last week by the person that came up with the primal mechanic. I think that might have been the damn draws. Grimjaw, the Primal King. We got a dinosaur for 8 mana. 7/7. Primal 3. If this was cast using only basic lands, it enters with 3+1/+1 counters. Well, that's gonna be hard for an 8 mana card. Trample. If Grimjaw has Primal, other dinosaurs you cast have Primal 3. Oh, I see. You have to build your deck with a bunch of basic lands. That hurts me. It hurts my soul. They stole Dimitri's toys too? Huh? Oh yeah, the Dimitri's toy idea. Wizards watching. Wizards is always watching. There was someone else who made a primal mechanic, and I think theirs is neater. Okay. I haven't been keeping... I remember your primal mechanic, but I don't remember the other one. So, I mean, this is completely fair. The only problem is I would never want to play with this card. Just filling my deck with basic lands sucks. You know what? I think there needs to be a bigger payoff for this. The fact that it's just a little bit bigger and that's it. It needs to be like, if you cast this with only basic lands, you can search your library for like a land put into play and also like fight a creature in play or something like that. I like the idea. This is a very good mechanic. But this payoff is awful. Just buffing your creatures +3/+3, I don't think is very meaningful. So anyway, does this count for That's So Specific bingo space? No, I don't think so. Anyway, I like it. I think it's doable. I think it's like it's not. What's the opposite of power creep? Pathetic. I think there's a lot of room to make this card more powerful, or get a better payoff for only playing with like 8 basic lands in your deck. Hey, Benovsky. What's Zybring? Weakness. Weakness is Zybring. That's what I would say. Okay, next up, we've got Mappius, who decides to super chat to complete the bingo. Okay, we got one super chat over here, which now then completes the bingo. So we're gonna have 2. I think I'm gonna make a rule. Okay, we're gonna have 2 custom. This is the end of the super chats and everything else. So we have 2 freebies. Who wants a freebie? If there's anybody here who wants a freebie card, we're gonna donate 2 to chat. If you have a card available. The stream died on me for a while. Well, it took a while to connect back. We did your card, Pedgeman. We did your card. It was done. We did the front side at least. Didn't you donate? I want it. Did you donate for one? Okay, who has no donate? Who has got nothing? Okay, whoever sends me out cards, I'll pick something. Callie and Mappius didn't get 1,000,000 cards. Everyone else got 1,000,000 cards today. Okay, Slowpoke gonna get at least 1, because I don't think Benovsky... Sorry, Benovsky's gonna get at least 1, because I don't think Benovsky donated at all today. Slowpoke. Slow! Oh, it's very slow. 1 blue, 0/2. Hippo Salamander. What? Is that... Shouldn't it just be creature Pokemon? Trying to think. How do they define Pokemon in the game? I guess they don't. Okay, Slowpoke enters tapped. That 100% banger. Pay 1, regenerates our Slowpoke. Also, pay 2, tap. Slowpoke deals 2 damage to target creature. Is that how Slowpoke works? Deals 2 damage to target creature. Enters tapped. Has no power. You regenerate it. I like it. You know what? It's very cute. For 1 mana, enters the battlefield tapped, and it's very slow too. No, I only had 4 cards. Did I do all your cards? I'm pretty sure I did all your cards. I think it was 4 too. Okay, who has... I'm going to give... Okay, I don't think Hollow got a card. Give one to Hollow. And this will be the second one. Hollow... Oops, sorry. Fear of Gambling. Fear of Gambling. We gotta support the people who have no money. No money. If there is a Pokemon set, I think they would need to do it this way. Otherwise, all creatures would have 1 creature type. Yeah. That's how Pokemon are. Fear of Gambling. It's a blue... Oh, do you know what they would do? It would be like something Pokemon. Just like how it's like Merfolk Soldier, Merfolk this. They're all Merfolk. And in this case, they're all Pokemon. Okay, Fear of Gambling. Don't be afraid. Give the machine your money. It's a nightmare enchantment creature for 1. I think it should be an artifact. Okay, Menace. Whenever an ability a player controls causes them to look at cards in their library, that player draws a card, then discards a card at random. Controls cause them to look at cards in their... Oh, I think, okay, whenever an ability a player controls causes them to search their library, that player draws a card, then discards a card at random. I was saying in response to the million cards joke. Maybe Pokemon should be a super type. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it should be. Okay, the Fear of Gambling. Sure. Okay, I'm gonna give, because well. Okay, I'm gonna be just generous. Let's quickly look at these 2. I'm gonna give 1 to Kalia. And I'll give 1 to Mappius, and we'll end the show on that. Lunar Eclipse. It's short and sweet. We have a 3-mana enchantment. No, non-basic lands are swamps. It's just what we need. We need more Blood Moons in this game. I'll let everyone decide if that is broken or not. Mappius with Ha-Re, the Sword Mechano. Now that is a waifu card. 2 mana, 0/1 human monk with Bestow. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to Ha-Re. That sounds broken. When an enchanted creature is blocked... What do you mean when enchanted creature is blocked, deal damage to defending player equal to the power of creatures blocking enchanted creature? What? It says it's an... sorry. It has Bestow. Right. All combat damage that would be able to... prevent all combat damage dealt to Ha-Re. So when it's fallen off, it's just a 0/1 that's basically indestructible. When enchanted creature is blocked, deal damage to defending player equal to the total power of creatures blocking enchanted creatures. So if you block me, I deal damage to you anyway. It's an interesting card. Yeah, because the... Yeah, I forgot. You know, through one ear, right out the other. That's just how it is with me sometimes. Yeah, reading the card explains the card. Well, not really. If I don't know what Bestow is, this means nothing to me. But fortunately, I do know what Bestow is. Just like you all know where to find this show. All right, thank you so much for everyone that showed up today. As usual, we do the show 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So be there or be square on weekdays. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. All the people supporting on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here today. Not only just contributing your cards, also keeping an eye out for those bingos. People like Daniel and Kalia, Mappius. We got Trent, Pedgeman, Hollow. We got Steve Cooper, Brian Freight, Banovsky, Roy. Who else do we have? The Damn Draws. Who else? We got the Jaded, Sage Kerr, Majra is still here. Rimple. Yeah, you guys are because you guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep bringing them coffees. Keep bringing them custom cards, and we'll keep bringing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.